are looking, the objectives of this speech is that the audience want to know more about Galal personally, and the evaluator wants to know the skills that he already has, in order to maybe learn from his first speech and then move on in his pathway journey. That's what I'm saying.
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, 26 years ago I was very famous on television. I came out as a chef advertising for an edible oil called Sina. And as a result, as a result of that, many women over 60 were madly in love with me. So I produced a lot of pencils that have written on them, I actually met Galal Zaki. And I'll be very happy to distribute some of these as souvenirs at the end of my talk. So how did I get into advertising? I wouldn't be here had it not been for my wife. I'm writing a book called Story of My Wife, Fadia Dajani, because I owe her my life. All right, the book starts around 60 years ago. I went to an English school run by the British, and all I was interested in was sports and girls, and not necessarily in that order. So I discovered to attract girls, I had to be very good at sports. I had most of the track and field records. I'd win the race and have the record, 100 meters, 200, 400, 800, 1,500. I won the javelin, won the long jump. I didn't break the record, and they said I couldn't do it. I kept jumping until I broke the record, and I had 10 girls, 11 girls screaming, and I was madly in love with all of them. I also discovered that to attract more girls, I had to tell jokes. So at the school, at the end, when I reached the senior school, we had a competition in Egypt, and I won Egypt's championship in the 100 meters and the 200 meters. And at the time, sportsmen could go to any university. At the time, it was medicine and engineering. Medicine, I was afraid of blood. Engineering, I was very weak at maths. I got 84% in chemistry. They said, Galal, go into the Faculty of Science and do geochemistry. Before going to university, there was a holiday. I was at the club telling jokes so that I could attract more girlfriends and putting on a British accent. And they said, Galal, come and work as a radio announcer. So I went and worked at the radio as a radio announcer and started telling more jokes to attract more girls. They said, Galal, come and work at the Egyptian Gazette, the newspaper. So I was working at the Gazette and the radio, and they got me a coach from America, Bill Hike, so that I could go into the Olympics. And Bill would tie a rope around my waist and get me to go round the track pulling a car tire. And he'd get me into the gymnasium and let me do power training, and he would say, you could always do one more. He used to kill me. Anyway, after that, I had to go to university, and they started speaking to me, the professors, in Arabic. And at the English school, we were not allowed to speak in Arabic. If we spoke outside the Arabic class, if we spoke in Arabic outside the Arabic class, we'd get a beating. And Mr. Scott would say, bend down, Zaki. I had to bend down on the chair. And he'd come with a gym shoe, and he'd three of the best, and he'd say, what do you say, Zaki? I say, thank you, sir. Arabic was very weak. So between Bill Hike, flirting, radio, Gazette, I spent 4 years, and I reached second year at the Faculty of Science. I told my parents, I don't want to do this. I'll go to the American University, Economics, Political Science. All right, I reached the fourth year, senior. In the second year, a bombshell came to the university. Fadia Dajani. All the boys and the teachers were going crazy over her. At the time, we didn't have social media. And the three fastest ways of spreading news were telephone, telegram, and telegirl. I went to her best friend. I said, I'm madly in love with Fadia, but please, don't tell. And then I had to do those tricks like I pretended I couldn't see her every time, until one day she came and she said, Jalal, I'm Galal, she's Palestinian. Galal, me? Yeah, let's walk. Imshi nimshi. Okay, so that's how I got to know Fadia. Well, between the radio, Gazette, Bill Hike, Fadia, I had over 7 absences in all my courses. And I got a letter saying that I was no longer at the university. That's 8 years. I had to do my military service. I became a dental assistant in the Air Force, working in a dental clinic. And Fadia got married to me, and I was taking £6 a month. And her father, who was a famous doctor in Jerusalem, ear, nose, and throat, he disowned her because she married somebody who didn't have a university degree. And she was saying this story to the editor-in-chief of the Gazette, and he said, well, Galal's English is very good. He can go into the Faculty of Arts and study English literature. So I went into the Faculty of Arts as an external student, and I passed the first year. Fadia's father came from Jerusalem. He discovered I went to university. He fell in love with my mother. My father had passed away, and he liked me very much, and he said to her, Galal's toe is worth your neck, he told his daughter. Anyway, I continued another 4 years, so that's 12 years. Last year, they asked us to write an essay on dreams, and I wrote 2 things. One called It, and the other one was a 1-act play on Shakespeare. It, I always had nightmares of falling into a dark void of nothing. And it turned out I was in my mother's stomach, and she was landing with a plane, and they rushed her to the hospital. Then a slap, a cry, and It became I. The other thing was Shakespeare. I got a teaching assistantship in the United States. They said, come and teach and do your PhD. I got highest honors in English literature, master's degree, came to Egypt. Somebody called Tariq Noor hired me because I used to tell jokes, and I got into advertising. I became accreditation officer of the highest diploma in advertising, and I accredited the university and taught at the AUC that I was kicked out of. Now back to the story of my wife. Fadia wakes me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She asks if I'm thirsty. If I say no, she's going to say thank you very much, and she's going to frown in my face and not look at me for a whole week. That means go and get me water. We went to Beirut together, and we had the passports, and I was standing behind the yellow line, and then we went, oops, all right. Story of my life.